So what we wanted to do is we wanted to say, where does this fund rank in comparison with all other funds in its asset class or in its, in we case, Morningstar category? So notice here, this says in 2015, so this is this is what the fund did, this is the category, this is the benchmark.
And this is the index fund that you...
Yeah, this is the index fund. Let's look at last year. The index fund was up 24.96%. That's not normal. Of course, look at 2022, minus 18%. So minus 4%. So just because you buy an index fund doesn't mean it goes down, but it gives you exposure to that index.
And doesn't mean it goes up.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean it goes down.
So
just
2024, it was up 25. The category, the average category was up 21.5. The benchmark was up. Notice there's a tiny bit of a difference between those two. And that's just because they can't match it exactly. But it's still pretty close. Index was up 25. So this index fund that we bought 25 years ago is in the top 24% of all 1,386 large blend stocks. So what I'd like to see is it just, again, now, does it do well every year? Top quartile, second, top, second, third, second, first, top. Second. So again, we're not trying to pick the best performing funds, but what do you notice? That consistency, index funds have consistently outperformed. So we're not going to go through this very much, but let me just share. So what we did is we put together, using Morningstar to select funds, we put together a sheet to help you. How do you determine on each of the asset classes?
Do you want me to hand it out?
Yeah, if you would, please. And then what we did is we screened the tool both for mutual funds and ETFs. Then we put the best of those screens together. And this is what you're going to get. So you guys remember I told you about that fund? That fund that 25 years ago, SWPPX? So let's kind of show you what this results screen. So we said we only picked 3 criteria. We picked cost, tax efficiency, and performance. So what did we do what's our proxy for cost? A no-load fund means it has no sales loads, no sales charges. So notice all of these are no-load funds. Adjusted expense ratio, 0.02%. Again, that's really cheap. Remember when I was managed funds, we charged 1.25% or 125 basis. Okay, so that's our proxy for costs. What's our proxy for taxes? Turnover. Notice these turnover ratios here. Do these funds buy and sell a whole bunch? And the answer is no. And then the last one here, what's the turnover for performance? So I thought, well, you can see performance for 1 year, but are we buying these funds just for 1 year, or do we hope to buy them for a longer periods? Yeah, and so I thought, well, why don't we see what's their ranking category for 3 years, and ranking category for 5 years, and then ranking category for 10 years. Now, not all of these funds have been around 10 years, so I thought, well, we'll accept ones that have been around at least 5 years. So, for example, this fund here is in the top 25% in the 3-year category, top 20% in the 5-year, top 11% in the 10-year category. And then I thought, do we really want to look at 3 different things? So I said, why don't we just take the average of those 3? And so, what do you notice here? These are all really close.
Yeah, that's the average.
Yeah. So generally, what do we recommend you do? If you like Vanguard, go with Vanguard funds. If you like, the only thing I don't like about Vanguard is you have less than 10,000, they charge you a fee every quarter. Schwab doesn't do that. Fidelity, I'm not sure. But what each of you are going to have to do is you're going to have to pick one fund to give you exposure to your asset class. Do you have to pick these funds? No. But these are suggestions. So this is what we did on Friday. Let's talk about what we did here. So let's start.
So remember how on the risk tolerance thing you guys decided on your asset classes and you divided it up and stuff according to accumulation stage and the retirement stage. Okay.
Okay, now how do you know what your first target portfolio? We call it an initial portfolio target. So we could just go through and just set 100,000 or 200,000 or something like that, but we found a kind of a fun little way to do it. So put your annual salary there.
At the very top, see that one, the 70,000 up there? So put your what you think you're going to make after college annually.
You set the point. So you can put your after college.
Okay, which one points it though? Which one?
The
This
red
thing?
dot at the top.
This thing?
Yeah.
It's not red, but it's okay.
It is. It's up there.
Okay, so that's your 50.
Okay, put your
70.
If it's 50,000, yes. I would put it before tax. Don't sleep in my class like you did at the. Were you in the?
Yeah, it was.
Oh
Jamie.
yeah, don't sleep in the class like you did.
It was Jamie.
So he did a really good job.
It was fun.
At the culture night.
It was super fun.
It was really fun. I got
Okay.
pictures of you. I got pictures of lots of you. I got pictures of you.
Okay.
So put that and notice that it'll automatically. Oh, well, I'll just say, let's say you're going to do 50,000.
Okay, so remember you only change things in the green.
You only change things.
Don't change in the blue.
So I put 50,000 and notice what is it done? It separates between 3 months and 6 months.
Okay, so right here is 3 to 6 months. So it's just separating it out. So now you decide what you want your emergency fund to be. So usually 3 months would be this much, 6 months is this much. So you decide where you want to be with that emergency fund. So you could just divide it in the middle or put 20 or whatever.
So this person decided 20,000 and with a 50,000 salary, they're putting 22%.
But you decide because you are the ones putting only stuff in the green.
Okay. Second thing you do, so what it does though, it creates your initial target portfolio. Notice here it's 90,900, and then 22% of that 90,900 is $2,000.
20,000.
Yeah, 20,000. Let's put in our asset allocation targets. So notice for our emergency fund, there's no retirement because emergency fund, you're going to take money out when emergencies come up. You don't want to be charged a 10% penalty in all of your retirement assets.
So you only put stuff in that green part right there.
So what we're going to do on the first one, so our emergency fund is just going to be both of these. So notice here, this person had 22% in fixed income.
Between those two.
For their emergency
7
fund.
plus 15 is 22.
So we put 22% there. And notice 22% times that 90,000 gives us a target of 20,000 there. Okay, now look over here. Now look at large cap. They've got 45%. So now what we have to do is, how do we divide that?
There.
Normally we'll just divide it in half. But I might do 25 and 20.
So you're dividing this number, 45, in half right here.
So I want you to do that on yours.
So
Now,
do that on yours. Whatever your number is for large cap, you do that over here.
Yeah, so I'd recommend that as you get older and as you have more options, you'll adjust that. But for right now, a rough half and half is a good way to go. And notice I'm going to do the same thing for small cap. I've got 13 here, so I'm going to do.
So whatever your number is.
6 and 7.
Change it to be over here.
International, I've got 10, so I'm going to do 5 and 5. Emerging markets, this is going to be long term, so I'm probably just going to put that all in my retirement. And then probably REIT there too.
So, but you can do it. You can split it up if you wanted 3 and 2 or 2 and 3 or whatever. But you can also put it all in there.
So now what have we done? We've built this portfolio. So now the target's 91,000. We'll have 20,000 in large cap, or excuse me, 20,000 in your emergency fund, 41,000 large cap, 12,000 in small, 9,000 international.
Yeah. So good job.
5,000 in emerging markets and REITs. So will we have a diversified portfolio? Yeah. Yes. So does that make sense? So take your information from your tool 18 that you came up with and put that here. So sweetheart.
The greatest decision it is between good and evil. That's the biggest decision we have to make in this life is between good and evil.
Okay. Thanks, everyone.